Hi Sagittarius, this is Angel Aura Divination, and I'm here to give the sign of Sagittarius a spiritual message where I give them a message from their guides. So this could be from any guide that you connect with, whether that's subconsciously, spiritually, or even if you have a relationship to your guides that you are kind of unaware of. This will give you an indication of what they might be like, but not necessarily who they are, because I'm not using names or any specific labels. I do want to kind of keep this open-ended, especially to the identity of your guide, because I do want this to be a collective reading, right, for Sagittarius. So I'm using the Angelarium Oracle of Emanations, which is just an oracle deck that has different personified versions of the branches of the Kabbalistic Tree of Life on it, as well as different illustrations of certain angels and angelic concepts in this deck. There's only 33 cards, but I'm using this deck specifically to show me a depiction or an idea of what your guides might look like, what they might feel like to you, and also possibly how they even have a relationship with you. I'm also going to be using the Wheel of the Year Tarot to give you the message and possibly even a deeper indication of the relationship to the guides that you have. So I'm just going to get into the reading now. I'm going to pray over your cards silently before I get into the reading. So this next minute might be a little quiet, but that's it. So let's just do that. Okay, sorry, I kind of spit a little bit, but I'm all right. Anyway, it's not even bad. Anyway, okay, I think that's really from my guides, because I do put my guides into the reading, and they are okay. Actually, that was from my guides. I do kind of put my guides into not the reading, but the prayer, because I also am working on my own spiritual journey here, and I'm also trying to protect myself spiritually as well, because I'm trying to connect to your guides. But you know, I don't want any lingering energies around here after I'm done, right? So that's really what the prayer is for. It's kind of helping me connect to your guides through this reading and through these cards at this time, but then letting them go after I'm done. So let's get into your reading, Sagittarius. The decks that I used are linked below. I love this card. We have Suklaf. This is the Angel of Verdancy in this deck. This card talks about abundance. It talks about a relationship to abundance. It talks about positivity, a definite relationship to nature. So you could even be working with a nature deity or a nature spirit. They actually even said something like a nymph or a fairy. This could even be you possibly working with like literal trees, or like tree spirits, or animal spirits as well. This guide does help you see the possibilities of a deeper relationship with nature in an unorthodox way. How that might resonate for someone like me would be through houseplants and herbal studies, right? Understanding the medicinal qualities behind plants. For someone like you, that could be houseplants, it could be gardening, it could be a lot of things, right? This guide might really connect with you when you are in nature, possibly even if you live near mountains. They might connect with you when you are up in the mountains or when you are near the mountains. This guide also wants to help you connect deeper to the heavens, to your own intuition, to your spiritual path, and possibly even to your soul mission. This guide is very calm, but they are also somewhat protective. They're not necessarily as protective to the point where they are aggressive or even offensive, but more protective in the effect that they have a lot of spiritual power. So if this was like a deity, this would be a very strong, well worshipped or well understood deity. Widely worshipped, widely understood deity. They might even be a personification of certain ancient mountains or something like that, or possibly even the personification of certain ancient forests as well. And they might even Ooh, actually, what I'm seeing in this card, this specific guide really wants you to focus on your own personal wisdom and even have a better understanding of what ancient or past life wisdom is for you, Sagittarius. So let's get deeper into that. Can I have some cards out for Sagittarius, please? Interesting. We have the Queen of Cups. We actually have the King and Queen of Cups. We also have the Four of Wands. We also have the, what is this, the Nine of Cups. The King of Cups flipped over in the deck, and the Four of Wands flipped over in the deck. The Nine of Cups and the Queen of Cups came out. So this is kind of giving me the impression that you are actually dealing with some kind of soulmate or twin flame relationship right now, where you feel super deeply connected to an individual who is somewhat of a counterpart to you, especially on a spiritual aspect. This is a spiritual relationship after all, but that the feminine here is kind of like taking a lot of the power, especially in the spiritual aspect. The feminine might even be more spiritual than the masculine, and the masculine here is trying to master his emotions here by, you know, trying to bring more stability, or even, they said, foundations to this relationship. They might even be just more focused on like a more positive living situation for themselves. I don't think that if these two people were in a spiritual relationship, they are not in contact right now. They both have something that they want to offer to each other, but this could also just be a representation of your masculine and feminine kind of coming into a greater, deeper connection within yourself. This guide really wants to help you have a deeper connection to spirituality, and the Four of Wands would be an indication that they want to help you through having a more positive home environment, Sagittarius. And the Nine of Cups would be an indication that they also want to help you have a better perception of self, or possibly even a better relationship with the people that you deal with on a regular basis, or possibly even help you find your soul family as well. This guide specifically might send you messages through nature, so especially from bugs, because I see a bug in this card. Obviously there's a ladybug right here. This guide also might connect with you when you are, they might show you different plants that you know would mean something if you are somebody who does understand the symbology behind different plants and things like that. And actually, when I'm looking at the Four of Wands, and I do not always see this, I actually have had the Four of Wands come out into multiple readings, and this is the first time I'm seeing this. This guide likes it when you're higher up. They like it when you live like, and I actually kind of resonate with this, because I used to live in a student housing that was kind of like a very tall building. It had like 30 floors or something, right? And I did feel a deeper connection to certain guides up there, as opposed to living where I live now, where I'm on the second floor. You know, I'm very close to the ground. In comparison, it's not the same. Your guide really likes it that you live high up, or they like to connect with you through even showing you different birds out of your window if you live in somewhere like, you know, if you live on like, you know, the 20th or 30th floor, you know what I mean? They might also like to show you different trees, or different, ooh, they even said the way that the trees move might even be something for you. But that might not resonate for anyone. Anyway, they also might show you different flowers if you're somebody who's like a florist, or somebody who really works in gardens and things like that, to kind of spark your intuition, really get you to research things like that as well. This guide is more, okay, they're more actively protective than I said, but they're still kind of a passive individual, or a passive being when it comes to protection for you. This guide is kind of neutral in its presentation of the expression of gender. So if this individual was alive, they might even have appeared more gender neutral, or gender non-conforming. But if they are like something like a deity or an angel, or they said saint or spirit, this would be more feminine in nature due to the Queen of Swords being here. So it's kind of like they are connected to the masculine and feminine, and they might even be a representation of that, but they might help you even connect to your feminine, or protect your own feminine energies through your life, possibly even through the way that you dress, or the people that you associate with. The Seven of Swords is also here, so this is kind of an indication that the reason what they're actually around you, and they're trying to protect you from psychic or spiritual attacks, whether that's like through other spirits and through, you know, this kind of, they said virtual spirit war, but this could also be like you needing to be protected even from people around you. They might have even cut certain relationships out of your life at different times so that you weren't seeing the full effect of the way that your partners were treating you at different times. Because there might have been some nefarious tactics that certain people in your life have used against you, or that used behind your back, that they were going to reveal to you to take power over you in some kind of way. It's not necessarily saying that somebody was cheating, but this is the instance that they're actually giving to me, where it's kind of like, you know, you in this card, it's even a depiction with the woman in purple here is hugging the man, right, and her eyes are closed, she's cuddled up against his chest in the cold. This woman is basically saying that hoes don't get cold, and she's kind of flagging the man down for, when you're done with this lady, you can come and hang out with me, right? So this is kind of that one of those things where it's kind of like your guide is basically saying that you are taken out of certain situations with their power so that you do not get hurt. And that is something that they are really trying to protect you from, which in itself can be spiritual warfare, where people take action against you, they don't tell you about it, and they just kind of expect you to get with the program when they do tell you about it. So that might have even been something that you've experienced over time, and they're just kind of like, we don't want to see you hurt, we don't want to see you suffer. But that also comes to the price of you losing out on relationships sometimes, where you might have thought you were going to enjoy certain aspects of the relationship with certain people, and then that relationship kind of gets kicked out of your life for various reasons, right? Okay, and so we have two more cards, and this is the last of the reading because I did want to keep it kind of short. We have, this is Judgment and the Lovers. So they want you to also have better judgment when it comes to who you entertain as a romantic partner, which is probably why they actually push you away from certain people, or they push certain people away from you in your life, is because they want you to be more awakened and have a better sense of discernment and a better sense of judgment when it comes to who you want to be married to, who you want to be partnered with, who you want to live with, and things like that. They're not as focused on having you in a past life connection or in a deep spiritual connection. So if you're not in one, they're not going to be the guide that kind of pushes you towards that. They're just more focused on having you have a healthy connection, and they're more focused on having you, you know, if you are in a spiritual union, they want to be a good role model, they want to be positive in that, but they don't want to be the reason that you are like running towards that. So if this was a deity, for example, and they had a relationship, they wouldn't use that relationship to teach you about your own relationship. They would just kind of be like, here is, you know, they would kind of show you, they would let you on to the information if you do your own research in that way, to where here is the information about my experience, but this doesn't really resonate for you on how your relationships might be. So, and certain guides will do that, you know, so especially when you do deity work, or when you do work with saints, or when you do work with, you know, widely used spirits like saints, like deities, like orishas and different things like that, right? They, or even archangels and stuff like that, they kind of have like a list of ideas that you might see, or a list of signs that they might show you and things like that, and some of that comes with their relationships as well. And so this guide is basically saying, like, you know, you don't have to be like me in the way that my relationship was, and you don't have to suffer in the ways that I did for us to resonate on a deeper spiritual level. And they're actually even saying that you might not be fully aware of who this guide is for you, but ultimately that they're here to protect you, and also to be called upon when you need spiritual protection as you awaken through your own spirituality, or through your own mission of the soul, basically. And that's all I really have for you, Sagittarius. So if you like the reading, leave a like. If it resonates for you in any way, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it. And then also find me on my other social media, where I do post occasional spiritual content on my Instagram, and I also post a lot of spiritual content and tarot readings on my TikTok. That's all I have for you, Sagittarius. Goodbye.